This is an MS Views and News interview with Martin Baum, multiple sclerosis blogger who's aiming to make multiple sclerosis visible by changing how it's seen one blog at a time. He's written for Shift MS, the National MS Society, MS-UK, and the MS Trust. Today, we're going to talk about blogging and COVID and how it's impacted his life across the pond. And we're going to talk about all that right now. All right, Martin Baum, you're out here. You're a multiple sclerosis blogger. You've written for all these wonderful organizations and these websites. You have various hashtags behind you, like hashtag live life, not MS, hashtag the MS bladder. And you've got other health things going on with you as well. So you are really a voice for people with chronic conditions and health conditions. So respect and thank you for being here in this space, man.
Oh, thank you so much for asking me.
Okay, so you're caregiver. You know, in the States, they say caregiver. Across the pond, they say carer. You're carer, Lizzie, and you have been together for 30 years, yeah?
That's right.
And so and she's an integral part of how you get along with MS, yeah?
Yeah, interestingly, because she was my boss's secretary. So a whole load of
Well, you won the game, man. You won the game.
On the game, okay then. It wasn't that kind of work. She knew she knew. Come now. So anyway, she knew I had MS when we got together because she's been hearing. She heard about me bitching about it for years. But the first sign of other people's misunderstanding what it was all about, there was this guy at work, really, really lovely guy, friends to us both. But as soon as he knew that we were getting married, he asked Lizzie, "Are you doing this out of pity?" Well, exactly. And he's sort of the a lot of people, nice people, well-meaning people who say not the nicest of things, but they don't see it as not the nicest.
Right. Wow. So you all have been together this length of time. Now COVID is here, yeah, and has sort of shifted up a lot of things. Like I remember one of your blogs talking about how COVID has brought the rest of the world into a body of an MSer. Like, talk to me a little bit more about that, man.
Well, I imagine it's the same thing over your side as it is over here, where people start complaining about the things that they can't do that they used to do before COVID. They didn't have the freedom of movement. They couldn't just go down the road to the shops, especially if there's a lockdown situation. It's like, hey, welcome to my world. You know, I can't just go down the road to the shops, not my own free will.
No, it's true. Like everyone is now differently hemmed in, so to speak. And so how did you even begin to start writing about your MS? Because a lot of people don't, they keep it sort of in and keep it close to their chest as long as they possibly can. And then it's sort of a slow sort of like, oh, okay, I'll tell you, maybe I'll tell you. And then I'll only tell you a little bit, but you are out here with it. Like, you're like me out here, like, I have multiple sclerosis and here's my interesting viewpoints about all of this, man. Talk to me about that, man.
Cut a long story short, I was a writer, wrote for the stage, wrote for the satirical circuit, but most important of all, I wrote a bestseller about Shakespeare. Okay. Right. So the book is called, and this was like a dozen years ago, "To Be or Not to Be in It: A Youth Speak Guide to Shakespeare." Right? But it was just taken from a sketch that I wrote. Quite clearly, I'm not from the street, but that wasn't the point. It was then it was to engage kids into Shakespeare. Because if you're presented with Shakespeare for the first time, it's like, oh, that's too heavy. So anyway, I did that. It caught fire. I was invited on to all sorts of programs.
Yeah.
I got offered a contract to write a musical based on my book from a guy called Greg Smith, who produced Jolson, Great Balls of Fire, to write for the West End. And
the West End's massive. Let's go.
Yeah, West End and Broadway.
Yep.
Right? I mean, this is incredible. And anyway, moving on from that, quite important, but because of MS, I just lost the ability to put one word in front of the other. So I'm not unusual for anyone with MS. You lose friends because the only thing on your vocabulary is talking about MS. You lose friends. So if somebody says to you, so how are you? Whoa, floodgates. And you lose more friends by talking about how lousy your bladder is, how lousy your bowels are. You can't do this, you can't do that. So moving on from there, my wife had enough and she enrolled me into mind meditation. And it's like to get me out the house. Just get out. I'm getting out. Yeah. So her life comes to a close because she's been caring for me the whole time, and all she can hear is me moaning. Isn't life unhappy?
Well, that's the thing. Like, she's your carer, so she's with you. So you are going, trapped, cohabitating. It all depends on your vocabulary. But no, even in these COVID times, as we're all more hemmed in. And I remember a blog post about you wanting to go get a haircut after such a long time. And then your carer is part of you on this haircut journey. But then the person in the shop is like, no, you have to go. Other person who was not getting the haircut, get out of here, go. And that is sort of like, as we are all managing our lives with MS, and now MS with COVID, but now our caregivers without MS, but with COVID, and just shaking all of that up in a bottle or bag, or however you want to complete the metaphor. But it's all sort of, it can feel kind of icky and messy. And like, how are you getting through all of this? Is it your writing, or?
It's to go back to where I was just beforehand, because I'm going to lose the thread, Good. MS moment. MS comes down a 10-ton weight and hits you on the head. You lose you know all of that. So she shoots me off to this group, and I take to meditation. No, I've never talked to it before. So from there, she said, why don't you write about it? Why don't you do something for one of the MS organizations? So I approached the MS Society and I said, I've got some ideas. And they said, okay, just send us some stuff through. And I sent some stuff through. There are basic rules to writing. My first one was learning how to write again.
Sure.
I don't write as fast. I still don't. But there's a structure, there's a framework.
Right.
Okay. And you learn that. And writing a blog is different to writing a play, different to writing a book.
Yep.
Well, you know that. You do all the different rules of engagement when it comes to entertainment, voiceovers, and so on and so forth. So with that, I wrote the first blog. I can't remember what it was all about, but they said fine, they accepted it, and it grew from there. But what I learned very quickly, and this is the very, very important part, is I thought, if I'm going to write about myself, I've got to be honest. And I was more honest with myself from any time I had talking to a therapist. Because if you're talking to a therapist, you're sitting there, you're there, and you're my therapist. But you're not going to wear me down yet. No, I've paid good money to see you, but you've got to draw the words out of me, and I've got to trust you. And what I found was the only thing I had to get over was how much of me am I going to open up about? And I thought, go for it. That's all. As long as I'm honest, I'm not embarrassing my son, my wife, myself, then that's great.
There's an honesty, there's a vulnerability that sort of comes along with being a performer of any kind, a writer, of someone who is a patient advocate out here in this space. and speaking up for themselves and speaking up for others and dealing with other people, like dealing with that shopkeeper in the midst of COVID, dealing with your friends in the midst of COVID, and social distancing, and how to best move forward. How have you sort of been managing this whole, I call it a juggle. And that's why I even do these interviews of like, how you juggling, Martin Baum? How you doing over there? What's happening, big fella?
What do you mean, juggling all the activities, or?
Juggling activities, juggling life inside your body, juggling social norms, people outside of you, not, or maybe they are complying to your restrictions, maybe they're not. Maybe you leave some people behind. Maybe you bring some new people with you. Through your vlogs, you certainly have gotten a new audience and a new set of people who are locked into you. And so that's what I think that's more what I'm leaning toward in these different times that we live in, these BC times, excuse me, AC after COVID, in these AC times. Like, how has your increased voice been one of these things to help continue to bring people together and still give you the space of clarity that you even began to write in the first place? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it. I don't use MS as my enemy. And I try to tell people, form a relationship with MS. The fact is, MS is like the cuckoo in the nest. You know the expression? The third person, the third cog. You want it gone, but it will not leave. You cannot divorce Ms. That's what Lizzie calls it, Ms.
Wow,
MS.
Ms. Yeah.
Right? He is there and not going to give you any space. You can't fight Ms.
Nah, you can't.
Not listening, because there's no cure for it. It's, whatever they say, what people say about we're going to find a cure, you can find a cure. You haven't found it yet. So you've got to live within the boundaries. And since you know what you're up against, then you can progress instead of regress. And that's why I tell people, stop bitching about your life, because you know how bad it is. Why do you have to bore other people with how bad it is? People still think it's a wheelchair and it's a stick. That defines MS. They don't want to know what goes inside your body. They're not interested. They might say, "How are you?" Give up.
Look, I'll tell you this.
Profanity there.
A lot of my friends, MS friends, have wheels, and the thing that I hear from them the most is whenever folk in the MS sphere talk about getting diagnosed and understanding it, they're like, "Oh, I'm going to be in a wheelchair. Oh, it's going to be the worst thing ever." And the people in the wheelchair are like, "I'm still here, man. I'm not walking around like you are, but I'm still here. Don't speak about me like in this way, because I would so much, I don't want to be in this chair, believe me. I would so much rather be in this chair than not here at all." And that's something that does not come out in the parlance in that way many times, you know?
No, it's misinformation in the media. But not only that, there was a situation last year. There's a soap opera in this country. You might have read it on one of the blogs, called Coronation Street. Now, what they decided to do, their cause was an MS, a character. They gave him MS. Fabulous. But for extra intent, they included a symptom that we as MSs don't have. A symptom that makes you hallucinate. No, we don't hallucinate. It's called Charles Bonnet syndrome. And it got me that annoyed that I tried to speak to the producers of Coronation Street. I had the backing of the MS Society behind me. I wrote a press release, and through that press release, I got press in the media over here, some highbrow newspapers, which was great, but they didn't speak to me. They only took it from the press release. The point being was that from this, if my mother was alive, she would have seen this character on the way to madness.
Mm.
And that annoyed me because that adds to a misconception about multiple sclerosis. But the soap opera was unapologetic about it.
Yeah, often are. Yeah.
And the other thing, and this is where I have to draw in the organizations over here. The one thing that I found about multiple sclerosis with our 2 days that we had, World MS Day and MS Awareness Week, right?
Sure.
We're talking, I don't know if it's the same in the States, but you're talking in a vacuum. If you, I Googled how much publicity multiple sclerosis gets, how much front page news does multiple sclerosis get? I was shocked to find absolutely nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm angry about this. So I spoke to various people within the different organizations. And I thought, let's band together. We can get, by taking on Coronation Street, which is one of the highest soap operas here in the UK, we could get a spokesman, myself. I didn't care, on the sofa of a morning television program, talking about multiple sclerosis, MSs, and have more publicity than any fundraising projects that you have.
Right.
Now, I got nothing. I'm thinking, hey, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Leading up to this, I saw Goldie Hawn on a breakfast television program talking about, it wasn't Asperger's, but it was a fairly big organization.
Sure.
She got to talk about it on television. Now,
Sure.
here was something where a major TV program, I couldn't bring the organizations together because they had their own individual projects that they wanted to promote, as opposed to something that would give them national presence. Now, I know a little bit of something about it because of the book I had about Shakespeare. It did set the world alight. I became the news, which was scary because I'm not that type of person. There's some clips of me on YouTube, on various programs. And I'm like a rabbit caught in the headlights. I'm not a natural to it, but I've never been as passionate about that as I am about multiple sclerosis, because it's made me adapt in a way I never thought possible. And this is also quite important, we complain about, I can't do now what I used to do. I used to be a great runner. I can't run anymore. I was a medal-winning runner, but I did that in my 20s. I'm now in my 60s. So MS didn't take that away from me.
Okay.
I got old. Life took it away from me.
Father Time took that from you, friend.
Exactly. So, stop raining against time, but it's those mental faculties. I've gone from free walking to a stick, and my wife's saying I should be going into a mobility scooter, and I'm saying a mobility scooter, no thanks. But time, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's going to happen, and you've got to have an acceptance, people.
What I'm getting from you here is it's not only that you keep rolling and you keep moving, regardless of the catalyst, multiple sclerosis, COVID-19, you have a savvy mind to find a way to still express what's in your brain, what's in your heart, what's going on with people around you. And that's really kind of where the magic is, man. And that's where, the writer's magic is, the performer's magic. You're taking what's been given around you and other people's reactions to what's, been going on around you. And inside, well, I agree with some of that I don't agree with. And in the middle, you write, or like I make a video, or like whatever it is, you create something out of the middle of that. Like, yeah, it resonates with me, but no, it kind of doesn't. So now here's this new meshed perspective. Now everyone will read about, or if you're like me, everyone will watch about. And I think that's the biggest takeaway here, as the virus sort of gets us more and more closed in our worlds. especially with our conditions. And people like you are saying, no, bro, this not only have we always been here, welcome to the club, and now begin to adapt your thinking. You know, that's marvelous.
Now, the other thing, and this is really, really important, is last year I had something that put MS in a box. MS was on a pedestal up there.
Right.
And then it got moved down, and suddenly it wasn't the worst thing that ever happened to me, because last year I got diagnosed with prostate cancer. Now that's a real mind mess up.
Right.
You know, when my consultant said, when reading the results to me, he said, this is better than I thought. No, better than I expected. And that was like, whoa, you're an expert. What did you mean better than you expected? Looking at x-rays. But the point being, hence the hashtag that superseded, or live life, not MS, which is, and not true in every case, don't be misleading, but cancer kills, MS doesn't. And suddenly I got a new perspective on life. It's a wonderful life moment, which is, Clarence, I want to live. I don't want to be wasting my time talking about how awful MS is to me, because MS will not kill me. I can die of complications from MS, but MS, unlike cancer, will not. And if you can get yourself into that mindset, you're thinking life can be better, but it can also be a whole lot worse.
Wow, that's pretty much the middle that I find myself in, and that's why I'm here in this space. You keep finding that middle with your blogs and your advocacy and your presence in the MS space, and you really are helping people get their mind off of what's happening right now inside of them, but get their mind on what's happening right now collectively, together as a whole. And that's special, Martin. I just continue to sort of hit that home. That's real, man.
It is special because every MSer is still the same person they were before diagnosis. What happens on diagnosis is, bang, your mentality changes. You say, because you've got MS, it means you have to tell everybody you've got MS, and it brings you down, and you suddenly forget the abilities that you had, that you used to have. And I'm not talking mental one. I'm not talking physical. They forget being the happy people they once were. They start bringing themselves down, and they lose friends because friends don't want to be with the gloomy person. We're meeting up for a drink, you and me. You've had your own problems. I don't know, whatever they are, marriage, problem with the kids or whatever. You want to see me, you want to spend a bit of time getting away from your life, and you're seeing me, and I'm telling you about how bad my marriage is, my MS is, and how it's affecting this, that, and the other. I will never see you again because you want to be more depressed. You want to spend time. I call it MS Gold, the light, MS Shine. I had to think for a moment. I've written about this. It's MS Shine or MS Gloom. There's two of me. Would you rather be with the gloomy person or the shiny person? And what I've tried to do is tell people, you are the shine. You're not the gloom. You become the shine. MS or no MS, people will want to be with you as they used to be before you started boring the heck out of them, bringing them down. How many people would want to engage with you? You're a wonderful person. I started reading your profile. Exactly. You've got that glow about you. So if I lived across the pond, I'd be wanting to post this conversation. I would want to be meeting up with you because you just bring that little bit. No, but you bring that magic. But you remember you got the magic. You don't let that go into the bin because you've got MS and isn't my world horrible? It's not. You've remembered, you've retained it, you've maintained it, and you don't have to keep finding new friends.
Wow. Those
Does
are,
that make sense?
no, it makes total sense, especially when you have been newly diagnosed and you're really just trying to reclaim some of your old life. And like Martin's here to be like, hey, yeah, you can keep doing that, but keep focusing on what's right here, right now.
You
What
don't have
gains
to
you,
write.
yeah,
You
what
don't
can,
have
what
to
you
do
can
anything.
do, what
Be
new gains
yourself.
can you make? And this is why I even stammer, because it's really finding and getting closer to that relationship with yourself, and having the wherewithal to sort of put yourself to the side and just sort of look at what you are and accept that. There's a lot of acceptance that comes with having MS, with having a world with COVID. There's so many different things that are going on around us that we don't like. And the more that we settle and accept and keep in our hearts and minds what we want, that's how we move forward. That's how we take the MS poop and turn it into flowers, metaphorically speaking, you know?
That's what an expression. And stop trying to prove to people that you got MS. If they don't see it, then that's great. They don't want to know what's inside. You know, it's just one of those things.
Absolutely.
Just to backtrack to this prostate cancer thing, and this is also very important for the guys out there, is that I kept thinking the problem with my bladder was totally down to MS, and of course it wasn't. And because we got an NHS here, a National Health Service,
Yeah.
but of course because of COVID, it's been hit, and the
Yeah.
service, although free, has been badly affected.
Absolutely.
I've got private medicine, and so I went privately. And because I went privately, it caught things. It caught things early for me, and I was very, very lucky.
Yeah.
And I blamed it all, my going to the toilet and having trouble to pee, and which is in its own right. I still have MS bladder.
Me too. I'm having it right now, as a matter of fact. Please keep going.
High
five.
High five. Point is, not all bladder problems are MS related. And the upside, whether this is broadcastable or not, I do not know. But I've been having a wee like a teenager.
Yeah.
I mean, the blots are off, and then it goes in a cycle. And I've got my MS bladder back, and so trying to work out these cycles and how long I can go for. But it's not all doom and gloom, and it's like, I'm a 62-year-old man. I don't want to be a young man, but being able to pee like a teenager makes me feel good.
Yeah. No,
and that's what it's about. So get yourself checked out. To every guy out there, I had the operation. It wasn't pleasant, but there are worse things out there. I won't bore you with the gory details, but I think it saved my life, because I would have been a dead person with MS.
Correct. Look, Martin Baum, where can people find you? Like your information, the way you put things together. That's something that we need to continue keeping going out here. Where can people find you out here?
Okay, my website is Martin Baum, www.martinbaum.co.uk.
Okay.
And if you just to see a little bit me on television, which I do hate, but it's out there, from a few interviews about the book, the Shakespeare book, which I'm not flogging anymore. It's there, it's in the system, so it's a dozen years ago. But it's just find out a little bit more about me. Just type my name, Martin Baum, Shakespeare, TV. You know how these buzzwords work.
Yeah.
And there's going to see a younger me, but I've still got the same color hair as I had a dozen years ago.
Okay, tell the truth, baby.
This is the freak of nature, this. I've got a grey beard, but this doesn't want to know. It's so embarrassing.
It's hanging on, baby. It's still there.
I'm gonna get my hair dyed grey.
Martin Baum, I appreciate you being here in this space. Thank you for speaking about your own journey, your own content creation. Thank you about speaking about MS in COVID, and thank you about speaking about your relationship with your care and how that's continued to have your life evolve and continue to expand for yourself and MS is pretty much all across the globe. Thank you for being in this space, man. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Lovely talking to you. And listen, to every MSer out there, life isn't over. It's what we make of it. That's it.
You heard the man. So, and thank you, Martin. And thank you all for watching. And we'll see you another time on another MS Views Now. Thanks.